Hello there and welcome. I'm Alexis and today I thought I'd share my experience visiting Villa del Balbianello in Lake Como, Italy, also known as Padme's Lake Retreat from episode 2, Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. So in summer of 2023, my family was planning a trip to Europe to go to my cousin's wedding in Ireland, and my mom asked if there were any other locations we'd like to visit, and I remember in a Star Wars behind the scene video that a place in Italy was mentioned. I looked it up right away and I mentioned it to her and she did some research and agreed. It seemed pretty doable. Before going to Italy, we were in southern Switzerland and it was only a 3-hour drive down to Lake Como, where this villa is in northern Italy. Europe isn't that big, so usually when you're in one country, it's a pretty doable drive to another. So we had arrived in Italy and we're on our way to the villa. It's just 10 minutes away. My dad hit a planter with our rental car and popped the second tire of the trip, and we were stuck on the side of the road in Italy. There was a guy who did help us, but I'm pretty sure there was a lady who was trying to scam us too. So that's great. So we had to drag our luggage over the cobblestone streets for a pretty long while and get to a ferry station. Got off the ferry, dragged our luggage some more. Our Airbnb host kindly picked us up and brought us to our home. I thought hope of seeing this villa of my dreams was lost, because my dad spent the 3 days of our trip standing beside the car trying to get some help in any form, like a new tire, a new car. And the rest of my family just had to rely on the ferry and walking to get around. But on the last day we figured out we could get dropped off pretty close to the villa and just walk there. So that's what we did, and we got on a ferry and headed to Villa del Balbianello. I think I'm saying that right. When we arrived there, we were welcomed by a 2-hour-long line and not much spare time before we had to leave. The rumor in the line that there were no more tickets to get in right away, because you can buy tickets, but we did not. If you don't buy a ticket, then you have to wait in the line. But we checked and there were tickets available for people under 18, which meant me, my brother, and my sister could all get in. We bought the tickets and got in and left my mom in line. We got in, we began the short hike up to the villa. I just remember as we got closer and closer, the realization of what I was about to see and the excitement was just kicking in. At the moment, my biggest Star Wars dream was about to come true. When we got to the front gate and started to see everything, the beauty just had me in unbelief. Things like the landscaping and different designs that we saw in the movie started to show, and I saw the resemblance, and I was just having the biggest Star Wars geek out of my life. Just ask my siblings, they thought I was kind of crazy. We arrived into the main area. The first thing we saw was the building with the arches where Anakin stood with the iconic pose with his hands behind his back, you know that one? And he talks to Padme about his dream. When I saw it, I absolutely gasped. No words at all. And I already knew that I did not want to be leaving this place anytime soon. I just wanted to stay there forever. I tried to take in every beautiful sight I saw, and we got the iconic picture, right? Just as I thought I couldn't be any more in awe, I saw the place where Anakin and Padme kissed and where Anakin said arguably the greatest line in Star Wars history, "I don't like sand." We walked down the small trail and there it was. It looked exactly like the movie and was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. At this point, there were probably tears forming in my eyes. Got plenty of pictures on plenty of different cameras in this location because I never wanted to forget it. We went down some stairs to a little boat dock, the boat dock where Anakin and Padme get off their boat and arrive at the villa. It's almost weird how a random little place like that could just make me freak out so much. And the place itself is just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's beautiful on its own. The fact that it was also featured in episode 2, it just added a whole nother level to it that blew my mind. Oh yeah, we also saw where Anakin and Padme got married in that final scene of Attack of the Clones. I remember touching the place where he says, "I don't like sand," because I remember he was picking at the little concrete thing, and I was Hayden Christensen was right here. I was he touched this. Ah! I'm breathing the same air. I'm ridiculous. But by the time me and my siblings had time to thoroughly explore this place, my mom had got in and she had a couple minutes to see it too. As hard as it was, we had to leave to move on to our next location in Europe. I'm almost glad we didn't have the perfect experience in Italy, because it made this so much more memorable and really secured it as my favorite memory and just favorite day of my life. That was actually the best day of my life, and everything that followed that. We had a nice car trip to our next location and it was just so great. If you're visiting Europe, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, put this place on your list. I just wish I could bring all of you there with me. But be a careful driver. You don't want any flat tires. The area of Lake Como is just beautiful in general. God can make some amazing things. I'm more than thankful that I've had so many opportunities like this to travel, and I hope I can visit some other Star Wars locations soon. Comment below what Star Wars location you want to see. And I loved this experience so much that I made a painting of it. Thanks for joining me while I shared my experience of visiting Padme's Lake Retreat or Villa del Balbianello in Lake Como, Italy. I have another video posted that's just kind of a montage of any video or pictures I had. I'll put a link for that in the description. I wasn't really like making YouTube videos yet at that point, so it's kind of just like a rough, like thrown together video of everything I had. Hope you'll consider liking and subscribing and commenting. That's all I have for you today. Goodbye, and may the Force be with you. Go.
I don't like sand. It's coarse, dumb, it gets everywhere.